Alright, here it is, the finale. Would I sound like a broken record if I were to once again mention that this is the only castle? Look, I'm sorry, I'm just very happy about that fact. It is extremely good that this is the only castle, but hey! It's a castle with a split path. That happens fairly frequently, actually. It's in like every game, I think. But yeah, the level itself, I just watched this stage to prepare for the actual recording, and I've already forgotten the song that plays here, so I guess it's safe to say it's my least favorite of the Wily Castle themes we've seen thus far. Also, God, this is... the tile set for this one is just really reminding me of Mega Man X. Maybe with some more bright colors than X would have, but like, man, just the general style of this place feels like a Sigma Fortress. Ah, and here we have the gimmick. That's right, this is the gimmick. So we've got not really invisible floors. We can see the floors when they're nearby, so basically you just want to move slowly as to not just fall in spikes like an idiot, but as long as you pace it well, you'll notice that last jump is a jump. You know, there is no point at which more platforms come into view, so it's pretty easy to tell where you should go. It's a gimmick we have not seen in this game, and right there did not feel like it was, you know, living up to its full potential. We've also got conveyor belt platforms here. A fairly tricky platforming sequence, and of course, we've gotta have a Joe on one of these. Always with the Joes this game. The accursed Joes. And now we've got these platforms, which kinda work like Mario World platforms. You know, the ones that look grassy and have numbers on them as well. These are more technological than those, but they work the same. They fly forwards for a bit, although I guess they do explode, which is different from the Mario World platforms, which just kind of fall into the abyss. Yeah, these will kill you. We've also got a Yoku block section, which I'm skipping, because nobody likes Yoku block sections. And hey, I'm even rewarded for skipping the Yoku block segment with Rush Jet. I got items for that. I did good. The game wanted me to just fly over that one. Now we've got the annoying dino, which is just going to be immortal for a hot minute until it decides to turn around. Until then, we're just going to have to deal with missiles. There we go. Fired its last shot right over my head. Not useful at all. And hey! There's one E-tank over there. Clearly we chose the better path. Alright, so, our next fortress boss is... Hanya Ned Squared. So, this guy's actually got a bit of a backstory, apparently. Wily found this samurai robot, which was frozen in a glacier. And so he revived it, and is now using it as one of his fortress guardians. Apparently, the kanji on the little bomb drums it's got there mean certain killing. Hisatsu. It's what the wiki tells me anyway, and I believe it. Because I've got no other choice. I don't know Japanese. Apparently, if you just rush jet, you can actually align yourself with Ned here pretty easily and just fire, but Slash Claw does good enough work that I think it's just the better weapon to use. Though, that being said, of course, you do have to get in close to Ned in order to use Slash Claw properly. And, like, I can see how that can get pretty tricky. It's also kind of weak to Noise Crush, though of course there are no walls to bounce Noise Crush off of, so you can't really get full power from that. But it is a ranged weapon, so you might prefer that. Alright, so, next off, of course, is going to be the boss refights. I'm going to mention now, I think one of the reasons people don't like 7 that much is because the Robot Master weaknesses in this game absolutely decimate the bosses, as we'll see, because basically they make it so that not only do the bosses take more damage, they also get an interrupt animation, so, they'll not be doing anything for a few seconds. They will have iframes, but, they just won't be doing anything, so that takes pressure off you. And in addition, it also usually puts them in a very specific pattern loop, so they'll do a specific attack after being hit by their weakness, which makes them even easier. We'll probably see that with Freeze Man, but actually we might not, he's doing different stuff. Anyway though, hey, time for some Robot Master facts. Freeze Man, his good point is he's a perfectionist, bad point, gaudy. He likes mystery novels for some reason, dislikes pollution, because he was actually a prototype robot for a pollution-free energy. Apparently just people were like, hey, what if we just made a normal temperature by combining hot and cold? And there you go, Freeze Man. I don't get it either. Anyway, Slash Man, good points. Lean and wild, bad points. Sticky fingered? I disagree with that one, but he likes vegetables, probably because he can chop them pretty easily. He's got a great animation where he just planks when he gets hit by Freeze Cracker. And he dislikes nail clippers, though. I know they take away from the battle strategy and all, but like, I don't know. You might feel a bit better if you get those clipped a little bit. I also think Slash Man's weakness makes him harder because this attack fucking sucks to dodge, but that's just my opinion. Oh yeah, also, he was apparently in charge of the dinosaurs we saw back in his stage, but he's just too fast and leaves them behind. He just runs ahead of all his dinosaurs, leaving Mega Man to just shoot him until he finally catches up and just shoots Slash Man instead. Alright, so, Junkman. Of course, his good point is economist, which I think more just means he's economical, because he's, recycling. He is literally made from parts, from old, destroyed parts, and so, that can be recycled into a robot. Apparently, though, his bad point is too much passion. Also, his likes and dislikes are different in English and Japanese. He likes junk food in English, dislikes raw garbage in Japanese. He likes junk in general, but dislikes food waste, which, agreed, Junkman. I don't like it either. Anyway, Cloudman, absolutely destroyed by his weakness. He is apparently a couch potato in the US version. In Japanese, his good point is opportunism. Bad point, can't wear shoes, doesn't have feet. He likes the rainy season, but dislikes lightning rods. I mean, I can see how that would be, something that draws his power away from his target, but also, I didn't need a lightning rod to just absolutely obliterate him. I just needed Danger Rap. It was pretty easy. Alright, Turbo Man's another pretty easy boss with his weakness. He's weak to Noise Crush. So yeah, he is actually specifically a battle robot, but, made from an automobile. Apparently he also has a cutting-edge stereo system involved, so he's playing his own boss theme. He's quick on his feet. I think that should be quick on his wheels instead, but that's my opinion. His low point is low mileage, very inefficient. Junkman would like a few words. He likes a good straight stretch, and his dislike is Burst Man. He's not even weak to Danger Rap, he just hates Burst Man! Apparently he also dislikes Punk and roads with a rough surface in Japanese, but anyway, of course, Spring Man. He has many springs. He in fact has 2,000 springs in his body. His good point is spontaneous, bad point elusive. He likes high jumps. He dislikes a low ceiling, though. Understandable. Yeah, I don't know why Dr. Wily made Springman as a battle robot. Springman just seems like he's here for fun. Maybe Wily just wanted to make a fun robot, but tragically, he just needed to modify Springman as well. 'Cause, what does Wily do other than fight? Not much. 'Tis the life he has chosen for himself. He is responsible for his own tragedy. Anyway, Shademan I love, because apparently he was actually an attraction for a fun house, which makes sense. You know, he's the haunted house vampire robot. However, he is apparently practicing a new song for karaoke, which there's a bit of a difference in his good points and bad points in the English and Japanese version. His good points in both versions are dandy. His bad point in English is lazy employees. His bad point in Japanese is always with a microphone. So apparently he is just carrying around a microphone. Maybe he's also singing his own boss theme, but unlike Turbo Man, he has to go a cappella for his. And of course, his likes in both versions are tomato juice, and what else would his dislike be but garlic? Apparently in English, his dislike is specifically garlic toast, which means he and I are mortal enemies. I mean, personally, I prefer a less crispy garlic bread, but, you know, well, a little bit of crispness, not too much. I prefer softer ones over, you know, crostini or whatever, but that's neither here nor there. Shade Man's now too dead for garlic bread opinions, and now we have Burst Man. He is a fireworks robot. He likes doing fireworks. His good point is optimistic, bad point happy-go-lucky. Apparently his bad point in Japanese is cowardice, which maybe not the best pairing for the fireworks robot. In English, he likes a night-long binge. In Japanese, he likes a hot bath. His dislikes in both versions are steady efforts. I don't know what... I guess he doesn't like slow and steady, he just prefers, you know, bursts of energy or whatever, because fireworks. Either way, though, that's the end of Burst Man, which means we are done with the refights. I'm absolutely going to use a W tank because I need all of my weapons recharged. So, it's time to fight Wily. We open up, as always, on a Wily machine. This one has one of the longest Wily machine intros to date, and also maybe in general. He's gotta just slowly stomp in before we can fight him. Oh, here he comes. He's a Wily, and he's actually faster than his intro made him look. So yes, he is weak to Thunderbolt. Basically, your goal here is to just, I don't want to waste energy here, but just take care of those guys. Thankfully, his foot doesn't hurt you. You'd think it would, but it doesn't really pick up enough for you to get hit by contact damage, but I do think it has to be off the ground in order for you to dodge. But yeah, otherwise he is just moving pretty constantly when he doesn't have minions out, making him a little hard to hit. And of course, you do want to be careful about actually hitting him, because if you go all in on it, you're going to make a mistake and end up getting hits. I don't know, it doesn't look like that front-facing foot is actually doing much of anything, but you definitely want to watch out for the chin spikes. Those'll hurt. Alright, so that's Wily Machine. Hey, remember how I said Bass was one of the hardest bosses in the game? Well, I lied about him being the hardest boss, because here's motherfucking Wily Capsule, the most infamous final boss in the series, I would say. Everybody hates Wily Capsule in this game because it's a bastard. So, those 4 shots, all of them are elemental, and I believe all of them basically just trap you in a specific animation, like the ice one will just freeze you, fire will set you on fire, electric will, you know, shock you. And basically, no matter what, if you get hit by one, you're probably going to get hit by something else, because all of them will just trap you in a damage animation. Wily's getting revenge for all the robot masters we killed, you know, by just utilizing their damage animations. And not only that, the formation of them is extremely hard to dodge. You basically have to lead them one way without getting hit. You gotta lead them a very specific way, and then dodge them. But leading them one way isn't that effective in actually, like, getting them into a safe spot for you to dodge. It's still incredibly dangerous to actually dodge them, even when, you know, you're waiting for the second pass. The attack Wily does whenever he leaves is nothing in comparison to this. This is a bastard. It is so hard to dodge, I hate it so much, and it will kill you very quickly. Have resources for this fight. Wily Machine 7 is easy, so, you know, try not to waste anything for that. You should be able to clear that without needing to use up too much of your resources. In addition, if you're having trouble dodging his main attack, one thing about this fight is almost nothing does damage except for weaknesses, and even when you hit him with a weakness, it usually only does 1 damage. I'll get to what does 2 damage in a sec. However, you can hit him with the Thunderbolt, and that is effective in a certain way. It won't do damage, however, it will interrupt his bastard attack. I personally have a hard enough time dodging attacks normally, though, that I really could not warrant switching back and forth between Thunderbolt and something that would actually damage him in the middle of this fight. Like, this is already too finicky a fight for me to really do that effect, or like, to do the normal thing effectively. I absolutely could not hit him with the attack interrupt, then switch back in time. I would like to save my dexterity just to fucking hit him, thanks. That being said, though, there is one thing that does 2 damage, and that's Wild Coil. Yeah, you know the thing that's really fucking hard to hit him with most of the time? Yeah, you gotta use a charged up Wild Coil to hit him, just to continue the you know, typical trend of Wily's weakness is like one of the worst things you could actually use on him. That is typically his weakness. Like, hey, remember Mega Man 2 when he was only weak to Bubble Lead? It's kind of like that, but instead, here's an attack that's just really hard to hit him with. In addition, the only other things that do damage other than Freeze Cracker and Wild Coil are a fully charged Mega Buster and the Super Adapter. Super Adapter might be a decent idea, though, just to make his attacks easier to dodge. A little bit. They'd still be pretty hard, but like, having a little bit of extra vertical space to utilize against Wily might help a lot. I did not do that here. I just wanted to use Freeze Cracker because it is the strategy I know, and it's the one I want to stick with, and in the end, it did bring me victory. Now, here we are at Mega Man 7's ending, another infamous thing about this game. So, this is one where localization actually changed things, so the US version is actually different from the Japanese version. The ending is more or less the same. However, I chose this particular hack instead of a different version, the Japanese restoration patch, because it actually is a version that keeps the US ending while adding everything else, you know, the stage and Robot Master titles and auto and roll for the item descriptions, but I figured you probably are familiar with the US version. I'm more familiar with the US version. Let's go with this one. So yeah, Mega Man's gonna fucking shoot Wily. Literally just says, "Die, Wily." He fully intended to kill Wily. However, Wily was crushed to death by debris. Now he's fine, he's alive. And then, just gets bonked by a thing. Mega Man's probably going in for the kill, however, Bass and Treble come in to protect Wily and get him out of there. In the original version, Mega Man was still going to shoot Wily, however, Wily is like, "Wait, Mega Man, remember Asimov? You can't kill me!" And then Mega Man's like, "Oh, yeah, shit, fuck. Okay, fair enough. I still hate you." But yeah, and then just in the US version, Mega Man's like, "I don't give a shit about Asimov, fuck off. I'm gonna shoot you. I'm still gonna kill ya." And yeah, no matter what, you get this very dramatic walk away from Wily's castle as it bursts into flames, and Mega Man's looking a little more serious than usual. So, I will probably have like a wrap-up for the classic series, where I'll talk more extensively about the ending of this game a little bit. But yeah, just... it is a little more serious than usual. It's certainly a low point for Mega Man, not as like a bad quality low point, but literally for the character. He was actually going to kill Wily. That doesn't usually happen. He's usually fine with Wily doing his thing or whatever. You know, he's going to escape, you snap your fingers and say, "Ah, darn," but it's no big deal, you'll stop him again. But inexplicably, this is just the straw that broke the camel's back. Either way, though, that's Mega Man 7. Again, I'll talk about the ending more when I wrap up the classic series. But yeah, Mega Man 7, it is a game that people rag on a lot, and I legitimately don't understand that. I kind of used to poke fun of it back in the day as well, but like, playing it now, it's pretty solid. I do think that the sprite size and the screen size aren't great, especially for the final boss there. Mega Man is too big and the screen is too small, and those projectiles are just too fast. So, I think switching to 16-bit mostly went well, but there were a few things that they needed to fine-tune. It wasn't a perfect transition. Nonetheless, though, 7's a really good-looking game, it's got a solid soundtrack, and I love the boss weapons. They're all pretty good. I think the next game actually has better boss weapons. I actually really like the loadout in that game, but 7's pretty solid as well. A few of them aren't super great. I don't use Wild Coil a lot myself, but they're all pretty good. And I guess people also disliked the balance of using the weapons against the Robot Masters. Normally it just does more damage, but here it actively interrupts their pattern, and, you know, for some of them it even puts them into more of a pattern than they were already in. So I guess I could see why people dislike that. I think later Mega Man games do a better job at sort of balancing how weapons work against the bosses that are weak to them. You know, I do want things to happen to bosses more than just more damage. I feel like if you discovered the weakness of a boss, you should be able to actively use that weapon and, you know, not fudge the boss completely, but at the very least, change it a little bit, you know? Make it a little bit easier in ways that aren't just, it goes faster. But, again, I do kind of get that people dislike the fact that it just absolutely wrecks the bosses in a way that makes them almost nothing. Though, considering the way I do these LPs where I do a Mega Buster run against the bosses the first time I fight them, and then I use the weaknesses later, I'm gonna be honest, refighting the bosses and absolutely dunking on them is an improvement. That just, it makes everything better. I kinda like it like that. But yeah, balance issues aside, I think Mega Man 7's pretty good. It's a little shaky, but not enough to really call it like a bad transition from 8-bit to 16-bit. I think it's very solid. I think it went well, and I think 7's a good game. Apparently, well, that might be a bit of a hot take. Maybe it was more of a hot take back in the day. I still see some people rag on the game a little bit, but I don't think people are quite as harsh on it anymore, which, again, is a good thing. Mega Man 7 was a big change for the series, and I think it worked out really well. But, I guess that's all I gotta say about the game. I kinda just went on about Robot Master weaknesses longer than I thought I would, so we're gonna wrap up here. This has been Mega Man 7. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time for Mega Man 8! Another game that was controversial back in the day that I think actually fucking rules. But that's a story for next time.